Hey, welcome to SK Lifestyle. If you're like me, maybe you got a brand new S10 and you want to protect it, or you're like 6 billion other people in this world and you have some sort of smartphone and you want to protect that as well. Or maybe you're just curious as to how well this product works. Well, that's why we're here. And where are we? Well, we're in my humble abode where we keep the commode, yes, the bathroom. Why am I in the bathroom? Well, this product is so particular that to get the best result possible, you want to be in the most dust-free environment that you can. So that's why I had the air filter running, and I'll show that. Just a little air filter ahead of time. The next step, what I'm going to do is run the shower for about 2 or 3 minutes to get it kind of steamy in here, just enough so that all the dust filters to the bottom on the ground. And I've already wiped everything down as well, just to keep it as clean as possible in here. So we have our little scientific experiment in the box. Yeah, this thing is pretty complicated. At least it looks like it, but we're going to go step through step. That's what this video is for, right? And I'm kind of nervous. I kind of feel like I should have just done one of those cheap little $4 plastic things you just use the squeegee on and call it a day. But I bought this. It was 40 bucks on Amazon. I'll put the link down below. And yeah, we're going to see how good it works. And with that said, before we get started, hit that subscribe button. It's right there. Just click it. Alright, now let's get to the video. Alright, as you can see, the water is running. So I'm just going to let it sit for about 3 or 4 minutes. Just till there's a little bit of steam in here, and that should be enough to bring all the dust to the ground. Alright, now that we got it nice and steamy in here, not too much, but it's definitely humid. I don't see anything floating in the air, so it's pretty clean in here, about as clean as I'm going to get. So with that said, let's go ahead and open this box up, see what we got. Alright, so now that we have everything laid out here, we'll take our LED stuff and put it to the side. Obviously I took my phone out of the case, and the phone is right here. You want to make sure that there isn't any pre-existing cover on your screen. A lot of them come with it. Mine does not have anything. And go ahead and open up our packet of goodies here. So we'll need this sticker in a moment. And we got the wipes here, a couple of them, and some cloths. So first we're going to clean the phone. Go ahead, clean her all up here. You want to get the edges too, because remember, a lot of these phones do have the curved edges, so you want to be sure of that. So go ahead and wipe it down. Try to be as good as possible here. As neat and streak free as possible. So we're going to go ahead and place it right down. And you want to make sure, you see it says speaker up here. It might be kind of hard to see, but on the actual plastic there's a part that says speaker. Obviously your speaker is up at the top, so you want to go ahead and do that. So now that it's in there, we can also take one of these little stickers. It says dust removal sticker, and you can just go ahead and just tap all around it. Kind of go all the way up, back and forth, and that's just the final way of making sure that it's actually dust free. So put that over here. Now we want to go ahead and take our speaker cover, and you got 2 of them because you do have 2 chances to do this thing, and you want to go ahead and just align it up with the speaker itself. Alright, so now that we got our little speaker piece on here, we'll go ahead and put on our top piece. And it should just pretty much sit right in there. You see it just kind of clicks down. And then we can go ahead and take our tab piece here. We're just going to, oops, if you don't drop it, I want to go ahead and slide it right in. Alright, and again, if you need to, you can go ahead and touch it back up with the sticker. I just did, it's still fine, so I don't want to mess with it any more than that. So now what we need to do is set our little bridge piece down here, and that just goes in those two little notches like so, and it should just sit right in. Now you see that we do have two of these applicator pieces with the liquid. You only need one. They give you two because that way you can do it a second time if the first time messes up. Now there's two caps to it. We want to start off with the yellow cap. So we'll take that off. And if you're using a different, if it's for a different model, perhaps it'll be a different color. But whatever color it is, that's the one you want to start off with. Leave the black one on for now. If you take the black one off, then it's going to start dripping right away. So there's a kind of crude screw pattern in there, so you can kind of just screw it down. It's not going to be super tight, but it should fit in there pretty square. So with that said, then we're pretty much all set to let the liquid out. This is game time, however you want to call it. So basically what we need to do is we're going to open the black cap, we're going to let the liquid drop onto it, right, onto the screen. And from there, we want to wait about 30 seconds or so, 30 to 40 seconds, and let all of it drain out. From there, we're going to have to remove this bridge and the cap that's in it. And we want to be easy. So you may want to see what I just did right there? How I just knocked it by accident? We do not want to do that. So you basically maybe want to put two fingers down there just to hold the whole plastic piece down, and then lift it off like that with no motion. You got me? So that's what we're going to do. And then we're going to put our tempered glass on, and then we can set it. So let's go ahead. So I'm going to undo this cap. And you can see the liquid draining out there. There's a few bubbles. And right now, you can see the liquid's actually traveling. And that's not really what we want to have happen, because it's way far down. So we'll see how this works. I put a little towel under there just to keep it there. So now we're going to hold it steady. I'm going to take off the bridge. Now this is another part. So I'm doing this backwards. So I need to make sure the screen goes on this way with the hole up here, because my camera's up at this top. I'm not doing it, normally if I was doing it, I'd do it with the phone facing me like normal. So I got to keep that in mind. You do as well. Now, as we take this tempered glass off out of the package here, if I can do that, once I peel it, I need to be sure that I do not touch the part that I'm peeling off with my hands. I need to just set it down and let it go. So you see here, I'm going to peel back. And it looks like there's two little holes built into it already. So I'm just going to keep note of that, because it almost looked like there was something there and I almost wanted to touch it. But remember, I just told you and myself that you cannot touch it. So I'm going to hold it on the sides here, peel it off. You can see some fingerprints on it, but that's just on the other side. So I want to set it down in here, right against those guide rails, and right on top, and then I want to let go. So you can see it kind of moving around. So let's check the time here, just right at the 12 mark. So we're going to give it about 1 minute. So I'm going to go ahead and say this might be a fail here. I'm not sure if the table is just really not flat enough at the point where it's sitting at. It's one of these fold-out tables. It seems fine, but I'm not seeing any more movement. And the table is also the reason why we got the bubble down there at the back end. And that bubble's not going away whatsoever, so we can't even cure it like that. So we may have to go ahead and use this second tube here. And if we do that, we're gonna have to make sure that it goes over real well. All right. Well, hey, this is part of it, guys. I'm doing it for the YouTube, so I'm gonna have to lift this puppy up, let it drain out, drop the next one in, and see if it works. And if it doesn't, then hey, I'm gonna just return this thing and say that maybe it works. Maybe you can have professionals that do it, a few dozen times and know what they're doing. But this, if it doesn't work on the second attempt, then I would say, it's not really for the average consumer. All right, there we are. So we got the case, or the tempered glass, I should say. Alright, so I'll just go ahead and do what I said. So just clean it one more time. I don't really know how well that worked. And we'll wipe it down with this cloth. Now you see me, I'm doing all this preparation. I was all set up, ready to go. Read through the instructions a bunch of times, and it's still not that easy. I'm using a fresh alcohol wipe to get the rest of this stuff off. I mean, there's going to be more to go on it, but I just don't want it to be uneven on this glass, Trying it up. I'm going to do it right at the edge of the table, just so it should be more flat here. Hopefully that works. We'll see. I'll be honest, guys, I am not that confident about this thing. Alright, we got our bubble going. Hopefully it sits right there. That's where we need it to be. Alright, so I'll give it 20 more seconds. And then I'm going to drop this tempered glass back on, and then we'll tilt it over, remove the pin, and let it go out. And yeah, perhaps because there shouldn't be any movement, you might want to actually kind of turn your phone off, or at least silence it. I thought I did, but it just vibrated, so I put it on silent, but it's still going to vibrate. I don't know how that's going to work with it's supposed to be still. Alright. Oh, see, I almost tilted it. Okay, so I removed that. Got our tempered glass. So I'm going to go ahead and tilt the bottom so it hits the center. So you see that absorption was a lot better. It hit the middle. And now it's going all the way out. And I will say the position of this thing, when it dropped in, it sits pretty good. You can see the circles overlapping perfectly for the camera. Probably got, I don't know, we probably got another minute or so, so we'll just hang tough there, and then once it's done, I'll flip the cameras back on, and yeah, we'll see whether it's actually something that we can continue with, or if I just gotta pack it up and send it back. So I don't know, we'll see, fingers crossed. Alright, so she's still curing. It's been about 4 or 5 minutes. It's really just the absolute edges of this left side here where it curves right at the edge. So I'm just waiting for those to fill in. About 90% of it already has, so even though I can't see it moving, it is still clearing up, because if I walk away and come back, I can tell the difference. Alright, so it's been a little bit of time. This last edge over on this side still isn't filling in, so I'm just going to go ahead and do the quick 15 seconds on either side. So this is pretty simple. You just fold out the legs. You're supposed to, oops. There we go. Helps if you plug it in all the way. So 15 seconds. Alright, slide it over to the top piece. Alright, and now we should be able to take it out of this device here. And honestly, it says to wipe away the adhesive, but I don't see anything on either side. So we can go ahead and remove this tab, obviously. And I guess I can remove a little bit of like the adhesive stuff right at the top. And we're good. So let me take one of these little pads here. Wow, so look at that. So I haven't even reset the fingerprint yet, but look. Oh. Of course now it doesn't want to do it, it just did it for me. Come on. Okay, so it did it with my left fingerprint. Apparently the phone has my left fingerprint in better than my right. The little bit up top where the sticker piece was, there's a, it's not messed up. Well, you can tell there's a little bit of like, I don't know, abrasion to it or something. I don't know what the right word for it is, but it's just a little noticeable. So if you're like a very particular person, that might bother you. You might want to pay attention to that step a little more. I'm not really sure what you could do though. I mean, the sticker was down, so it just looks like some of the liquid stuff kind of scratched right at the top or something. I don't know. You could see that. So other than that, it feels really good on here, that's for sure. And the other thing that I wasn't sure about is how thick it would be. It honestly doesn't seem any thicker than it kind of already was. I mean, obviously there's one extra layer on there, but it's thin. Like, I don't think it's going to have any problem going right back into the case. So we shall see right now. Close that. All right, so it's in the case. And yeah, it fits perfectly fine. And honestly, that part that's kind of covered is tucked up in the case anyway. I mean, personally, I wish it wasn't really there. Probably if I was a little better at this, that wouldn't have happened. I don't know. But again, I'm an amateur at this. I'm not one of these people that does thousands of phone reviews and all these kind of things. And so that's the average person, is going to be somebody like me that just got a new phone, wants to protect it. So what do I think about this whole process? I think the instructions, I think everything, the way it's set up is pretty good, but there's too many variables. Like the dust thing was it was a lot to really worry about. The table, I mean, this table is perfectly flat, yet somehow the liquid kept moving. And honestly, doing it next time, I would know that you can, just how you need to tilt it to get it to go to the center when you're dropping the plastic. I should have just tilted it back to the center for the first time and then dropped the plastic and then let it go. So those are things to know. Obviously, me doing it can probably help you guys out, get it to be a little more perfect on your end. I'm just going to leave it. I'm okay with that little thing down there, especially since it barely ever comes out of this case, so you won't really see it. And as long as it just holds up, I think it's going to be all right. Now, do I think it's worth 40 bucks? Honestly, no. I don't know. $40 seems like a lot. Like the regular case of covers you can put on film, you know, you could put a new one on every 4 months if you wanted to for the life that you have the phone, and it'd probably, you know, be the same. It does have a nice texture to it. It does really feel just like the glass of the phone itself. And I think the protection of it is a little better than a normal film. Like there's going to be a lot more damage protection to it when it hits something than a normal film would go right through it faster and so forth. So I guess in that respect, it's kind of worth it. But I think for the average person, I don't really think it's going to make a difference. But that's it. That's the Whitestone dome glass installation and quick initial review from SK Lifestyle. Alright, so before I let you go, I had to do a quick update. Now that I've had the Whitestone dome glass on my phone for about a week now, it definitely feels great. That's for sure. It feels way better than any other screen protector I've ever had. It really does feel like glass. I feel myself sometimes just moving my thumb on the screen just because you know how you get certain materials that feel good. Like, it's just one of those materials. However, I do still have the problem down at the bottom, and I'll do a close-up, but there's still a little bit of space down there. And what I found too is I'm starting to get like little micro bubbles, all maybe about a centimeter on the inside, and I'll do a close-up on that as well. And you can see the bubbles, it actually was maybe 50%, no, I'd say maybe about 100-200% worse. Sometimes maybe if I swipe that way they kind of go away a bit, but they start to come back. I don't know if they're starting to dissipate a lot now and they're finally going to go away. The other thing that you can see, and I'll do a close-up on this as well, but there's a shadow of like where the majority of the liquid kind of like froze at. I don't know, or what happened, but it's certainly because of the screen. Like maybe it's pressed down more in that area somehow. So basically, anyway, before I just start droning on, I did ask Amazon for a refund. Well, not a refund, an exchange. So I'm going to get another one, and I'll be able to do it again and see if I can't get it done perfectly this time. I pretty much follow the steps just like they asked. And overall, I do think it's a good product. I'm pretty impressed with it. It still works very well. I haven't even redone my thumbprint yet. Sometimes I get a little frustrated, it doesn't read it just right, but it does work through it. I'm sure once I reset the thumbprint, it'll work even a lot better. And even with the little bit of bubbles down in the corner and this little piece not being done, and even honestly, if it's just that part not getting done, I wouldn't mind, but the shadow of the gel over here on the white surfaces or light surfaces of the screen, it definitely shows up, and those bubbles are kind of a concern. But I am pretty impressed with this stuff. So I had to let you know the good, the bad, the ugly, all that sort of stuff. But that said, I appreciate you guys watching, and again, leave those comments down below. You know the channel, SK Lifestyle.